Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, or hi hello if you are new here. Thank you for joining me for today's video where I'm going to be trying out the Ordinary Full Coverage Concealer. I'm really excited to try this out, so if you'd like to see how I get on with this and covering up my very dark circles, then please just keep on watching. So I've currently just put my foundation on, no powder, anything like that, obviously no concealer, and I think this really shows up kind of how purple my eyes are. So I've just got a lot of veins all around my eyes, the skin is really thin, so I love applying concealer. It's like my favourite part of my makeup routine, and it's also something that I will do every day. Even if I'm not wearing makeup, I'll always pop a little bit of concealer under my eyes just so I don't look so tired. So I'll just move in a little bit closer so you can actually see like around my eyes. You can see like how purple it is here, and then on my eyelids they're just really veiny, and yeah, they definitely need covering up because otherwise I do look tired. So when this popped up on, I think it was my Facebook, I was like, oh my god, a new full coverage concealer, which is £4.95. I really wanted to try it out. So I will just tell you a little bit about it, what the claims are. So it's a high coverage concealer, and it says that this is a high spreadability formula, buffs and blends seamlessly onto the skin for high coverage that still looks natural. The real skin finish looks like your skin but better, whilst the formula resists setting in fine lines and on dry skin, and it is cruelty free. So I think what's so exciting about this is that it has these amazing claims, but it is also only £4.95. Now my concealer of choice is actually the e.l.f. concealer, the 16 Hour Camo Concealer. I really love this one, however it is quite matte, so I'm excited this one might look a little bit more hydrating and natural. This one is good because it does cover really well, but like I said, in the winter I have been struggling with it a little bit more because it's drying. So you get 8ml in here for the £4.95, and I went for the colour 1.2 Neutral, which is a light neutral colour. The shade range was pretty good. From Beauty Bay I got mine. Beauty Bay are stocking, let me see how many shades, 21 shades. Here's kind of like all the shades that they have, so there is like quite a few, and they do them in like neutral, warm, golden, pink tone, so they have like the different tones, which is really good. Anyway, let's get on to trying it out because of course that's what you've come here to see. So this is what the little bottle looks like inside, and it has like the tiny little end on it, so you can just squeeze it really around your eyes or anywhere you want it, which is quite nice because it's kind of like clean application. I do sometimes feel like with a lot of concealers you use a doe foot applicator, so you're like putting it on your face and you're dipping it back in the product, which sometimes I suppose could be seen as unhygienic, although a lot of concealers are like that, so I guess that is just the way that they're done, but I did quite like that about this one. So I'm going to pop a little bit under each eye, and it says the best way to apply it is actually with a brush. So I do have a concealer brush here. This is the Smashbox concealer brush, and I do also have a sponge because I thought I would do one eye with a sponge. So let me move a little bit closer and apply it. So I'm just going to squeeze a tiny amount like that because where it says it is full coverage, obviously I don't want to be putting too much on, and then I'm just going to blend it in. I'm just going to be looking down here because that's where my mirror is. So the shade is quite light actually, but I think once I've kind of blended it in it will be okay. I do like a bit of a lighter concealer anyway because I like the brightening aspect of it. Okay, so far it's spread out really nice with the brush, and it is looking quite full coverage. It's covering the darkness. Okay, so that blended in really nicely and easily around my eye with the brush. Now I'll do the other side with the sponge and kind of compare the both. So it's a bit more difficult obviously to spread it around with the sponge. So the sponge definitely soaked up a lot more of the product, so I didn't even have enough to kind of get in the inner corner and up onto the eyelid. So I think it's definitely right. I felt like this kind of buffing concealer brush was the best way to apply it. But what I would do is like blend in like round here, so where it gets lighter and goes into the foundation I would use my sponge for that, but I think for most of the application the brush is definitely better. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more on this side and go with the brush because I think I'm going to get better results. You can get this concealer from quite a few different places, I think. I did buy mine on Beauty Bay. I will leave it linked down below if you want to try it out. Much prefer using the brush with it. I'm just taking the excess on the brush and just going a little bit around my nose, which is what I normally do, just to make sure that all the foundation around the nose is all like blended in nicely. If you hear any strange background noises, I do apologise. We're having a bathroom fitted next week. So Ollie, my fiance, is just preparing the bathroom, which is like kind of underneath me and back a little bit, so there might be a few bangs and stuff, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, so that is the concealer applied. I'm probably going to have to go in with more, but I'm just going to show you what it's looking like so far. So underneath my eye, it is creasing a little bit, and it hasn't covered the darkness as much as my e.l.f. concealer does, but it's definitely more hydrating. Like, it doesn't kind of dry down. So with the e.l.f. one, it does dry down. Whereas with this one, you can feel it is slightly tacky, which is nice because you have a bit more time to move it around. But I can feel that it is slightly settling in. I'm going to go in with a second layer, just put a little bit more on, because I'm wondering maybe I didn't apply enough to get the exact results that I want. So I'm just going to buff this in and see how much better that works. Okay, so that's a bit more applied, but this concealer is really kind of making me want to use my finger. So I'm just going to use my finger and see how that works for it, because I don't know, it just feels like that would work better. Brush slightly, probably because I've gone in with a second layer, feels like it's moving it around a little bit more. Okay, that's definitely really nice once I've used my finger with it. It feels really nice and hydrating under the eye, which is lovely. Definitely doesn't feel like it's going to dry out your under eye and go all kind of wrinkly. So I'm going to really quickly set that with a little bit of setting powder, just because that's what I always do with my concealer, because I do have, you know, wrinkles under my eyes a little bit. I am 29, so I have got a little bit of wrinkling under there, so I do need to set my concealer as it will crease. And even though this does say it doesn't crease, every single concealer creases on me, so I'm not going to be like leaving it because I think that because it says that it's not going to crease, because it will. So I'm just using a little brush to press the powder in, not putting too much on, and just putting a little bit on the eyelid as well, so it's all like set and ready for the rest of my makeup. And I'll just put a little bit where I put it around the nose there as well. Okay, so that has set and it's now looking really, really nice. I definitely got rid of my dark circles completely. I look a lot more brightened and awake and not so tired. So all I'm going to do now is, because I did use 2 goes of that, there is a little bit left on my brush here, so I'm just going to use that just to go over these little blemishes I've got on my chin. I don't want any more product there because I don't want like a build up of product, so I'm just using it to kind of go around my lips, and there was definitely enough product on there, so it works really nicely actually just to cover blemishes. I just had a few, but yeah, it's definitely helped with those. And then I'm just doing the same as I did before and just set that. Okay, so far so good. I'm really liking the feel of it, definitely. I definitely prefer the feel of this compared to my usual concealer. This does remind me of Bye Bye Under Eye by IT Cosmetics. It definitely has a very, very similar feel to that product, and it also looks very similar, like with the tip. The way it comes out, it's very similar to that, but obviously a much more affordable version, and I have used that. That used to be one of my favourite concealers actually, so I have used that quite a lot, and this definitely feels quite similar. The reason I stopped using that was because I found more affordable options, so now I'm excited that this is like very similar but much more affordable. So I'm going to go away now and finish up the rest of my makeup and give you my final thoughts on the concealer. Okay, finished up my makeup, and my thoughts are, I don't absolutely love it. It is good, don't get me wrong, it's good for the price, but I just feel like it's not setting. So it's just feeling a little bit tacky. So even though I've popped the powder over the top, it still feels like it's not settling in. So then what it's done is it has actually given me like lines underneath my eyes where the concealer's settling in. I know I said like all concealers do this, but this one is kind of doing it, and then it's like almost like the coverage is coming away from how it did cover up the dark circles. From a distance, it looks absolutely fine, and I do really like it, and I definitely will use it up. It's not like I'm not going to use it, but I just don't think I would repurchase this. It also has gathered up a little bit on the side of my nose there and gone a bit dry. Yeah, there's a gap where it's like flaked away, so it hasn't kind of gone into my foundation that well. Okay, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update in natural natural light and also a little bit of footage that I filmed on my phone, which sometimes I feel like gives a much clearer picture when it's close up, because in my beauty room I film with like lights and natural light, but in here it's completely natural light, but it is very echoey, so sorry about that. But hopefully this just helps to explain what I was trying to say about around the eye. It just is not settling down properly, and it is breaking away, like where it joins the foundation and the concealer, it's just breaking apart. And like on the side of my nose here it is, and like you can see it's just really settled into my fine lines and it's made them kind of look worse. So it's almost kind of like aged me a little bit, which is obviously not ideal. And from this far away it does look quite nice, and it does like sort of look hydrated, which is nice. But yeah, that I just thought I would show you in the natural light what it's looking like. And then the next thing with it is on my eyelids, it has creased quite a lot. Like you did see, I did try and set them down, but it has still kind of remained a little bit tacky and then settled in to my eyelids again. I mean, I know we can pat that out, but still it's a little bit frustrating. I have definitely used drugstore full coverage concealers that are better than this. The two that I love the best are the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, like I said in the beginning, and also the Collection 2000 Lasting Perfection Concealer. That one's a really good one too. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. As we can see, it does look lovely. It has covered my dark circles, but I just don't think this is going to be very long wearing. It already is kind of breaking apart. Maybe with a different foundation or a different powder it would work better, but for me the fact that it hasn't actually set is a biggest thing I don't like about it. I do like the fact that it feels hydrating. I definitely prefer that to it than my usual concealer. I really like the way that it makes my under eye feel, but then obviously it's the way that it looks that is more important to me, because I do want it to be like really smooth under there. So you probably could go in with a sponge and like smooth out the lines, but again, that's not something you really want to be doing throughout the day. You just want to know that it's on there and it's going to stay on there. So that's my final thoughts on it. I do like it. I will continue to use it, but I definitely won't repurchase it. I'm going to stick with my usual concealer routine. It hasn't changed my life or my concealer game. I don't know how anyone else has got on with it. There's a few other reviews on YouTube which I didn't watch because I didn't want to be influenced. So this is my first impressions and my review, and I really hope that you have found it helpful. If you did find it helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and definitely subscribe for more review videos. If there is a particular product you would like me to try out, then definitely leave me a comment down below, and also leave me a comment letting me know how you got on with this concealer if you have purchased it, because I'll be very interested to know how it works on different skin types. If there's any change in what I think about it, I will leave an updated comment down below or something talking about it, but for the most part it's not the best. But yeah, hope you found the video helpful. If you do want to purchase it, I do have the link and I will leave that down below for you to have a look on Beauty Bay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're staying safe and well, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye.